professional writers, it's me, Mr. Krill. I embedded this video because I wanted to talk to you about today's lesson. When we talk about working backwards so that our mystery can go forward, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want you to understand the idea of using clues to help lead your characters through the story, but ultimately to help lead your audience through the story as well. Working backwards is kind of a fun activity, and what it made me think of right away was when I was little, my cousins would come from New York and visit, and my brother and I and them would play a game called Treasure Hunt. Now maybe you've heard of Treasure Hunts or you played this game before, but let me just kind of walk you through it, and then I'll show you how it applies to your mystery that you've been working on. When you're writing a mystery, you want your characters to kind of follow through with whatever plot you have developed. But this concept will help you plan out your clues so that you have your final thought where you want your characters to go and in that final moment, and then work backwards. When we were little, we would set up these treasure hunts around the house. For example, we'd find clue 5 in the family room by the TV, and we'd read it, and it would say, the next clue is found in the coldest place in the house. And so we would think about it and realize, oh, it must be the freezer. We would run to the freezer and open it up and look around, and there in the popsicle box or attached to the back of some item that's stored there would be the next clue. And then it would say something like, if you're looking for the next clue, it's in the lowest place in the home where clothes are kept. And then we would think through this, and a lot of this is really simplistic, but I'll apply it to what we're talking about. We'd realize, oh, well, Mom and Dad do the laundry in the basement, so that's where we'll go for the next clue. And sure enough, we would do some searching, and there would be that clue. The way that the treasure hunt works, though, is that whoever was setting it up, whether it was myself, my cousins, or my brother, we would take time beforehand to map out all the clues. Let's say there were 12 clues throughout the whole game, for example. You'd have to understand where you wanted the 12th clue to be kept, but you'd also want to know what it is. So the 12th clue would say, you've solved the mystery, and then that might be stored at the oak tree in front of my parents' house. Clue 11 would have to be then thought out to lead you to get to the oak tree. Clue 10 would have to get you to clue 11. Clue 9 would have to get you to clue 10. When everything was done, the process would be to place all those items properly throughout so that whoever was following through with the treasure hunt could be offered clue 1, which would be kind of like in the beginning of your story, and then they would have to kind of work their way through, or maybe one of your main characters is a detective, and that detective has to follow those clues all the way up to the amount of clues that you put in there. The reason that you want to work backwards, though, is because you want to appear to the audience that this is a well thought out, pre-planned activity when you're writing through, and it will really help your audience and your readers follow your main character from step 1 to step 2 to the TV, to the freezer, to the basement, and out to the oak tree where they finally solve the mystery. I think this is quite important, and this is where you can take all of the ideas that you've talked about and all the strategies you've talked about from before and really apply it to taking a look at your clues and working backward. I think that if you take some time to really map out your step by step by step from where you want your story to end up back to where you want your story to begin, you're going to see that there's this nice pathway that leads through each of those clues. It's just a suggestion, and writers professionally do take time to really map out how they want their story to go. And I think that if you apply this strategy and you use other ideas that we talked about, misconceptions and characters and red herrings and all the different strategies, I think that you'll find that your mystery will be embedded with all sorts of great detail and really mislead your readers, but allow your main character to flow through the story to the end. Just a suggestion, but let's check it out. So working backwards to the beginning will allow your beginning to flow so nicely to your end. All right. Well, professional writers, I hope you can try applying this. Maybe take some time and talk with your teachers about writing out a number of clues using misconceptions and see if you can do that. All right, that's all for now. I'll talk to you later. Happy writing.